Well, this is about cinema. Egunon, kaixo, denori etortzagatik beste urte bat. Gracias por venir a la presentación, la rueda de prensa de Sabat Cinema, la sección de Outdoor Aventura y Deportes de Acción que organizamos en colaboración con Red Bull Media House. Pues sí, Sabat Cinema, puedes ver un poco la protagonista de este año, es una moto bastante salvaje. Este año sabíamos que íbamos a trabajar con un título importante en la cultura de motos y decidimos pues, tirar del hilo para que la imagen fuese una moto bastante salvaje. Sabat Cinema son 6 películas, hoy vamos a presentar 4 de ellas. Empezamos la semana con Danger Dave, título de Philippe Petit, que yo creo que no dejó indiferente a los despistados que entran en las pelis de nuestra sección, pensando que solo somos deporte. También Days of My Youth, una peli de free ski. Nuestra sección al final yo creo que habla de gente que vive de sus pasiones y que organiza su vida alrededor de sus pasiones. Y bueno, aquí tenemos a los 4 títulos. Vamos a empezar con... Okay, yeah, sorry. Shall I translate or...? I'll do it. Okay, basically we're saying that this is the presentation of Sabat Cinema. This year, the image of the festival, we wanted it to be pretty wild because of our name. When we knew that we were working on having on any Sunday, Next Chapter, which is such an important title in the motorcycle culture, we decided to work with this impostor that is definitely a wild machine. 6 films, today we present 4, so we're going to start with Higher, and we have with us Todd Jones, co-director. Your brother is not here, but you're here, please. Higher.
Explanation of Higher. General introduction. Yeah, Higher. Higher is a film about my younger brother who's become somewhat of a legendary big mountain snowboarder. And it tells the story of his rise from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, which is a flat place in the world with no mountains, and all the way up to climbing and riding 22,000-foot mountain in the Himalayas that...
We'll do translation, so we'll do by steps, sorry. First part, because it's very hard if not for our translator, for Elena.
Yeah, she knows the film.
Bueno, vamos a comenzar con Higher, la película de Teton Gravity Research, representada aquí por Todd Jones. Higher es una película que trata sobre todo de su hermano pequeño, del hermano pequeño de los 2 productores, Jeremy Jones, que se ha convertido en una leyenda del riding, del snowboard de grandes montañas, y que originario de Cape Cod, Massachusetts, donde no hay ni siquiera unas pequeñas colinas, ha terminado o ha culminado su carrera bajando montañas de 8.000 metros en el Himalaya.
Perfect. I think that's a good summary of the film. So, I'd like to hand this to Bruce Brown now.
No, sorry.
No?
Sorry,
still, you're going to pepper
from mountain, from Higher, we're going to go to Valley Uprising, another mountain title. We have Peter Mortimer and Nick, he's around there, but Pete is going to introduce and then we'll have Nick in the discussion.
Okay, cool. Valley Uprising is about the history of rock climbing in Yosemite Valley, which is the global mecca for rock climbing. Should I pause there? And we look at 60 years of history. We trace the evolution of the sport, but also the birth of this counterculture and lifestyle that started there with beatnik dropouts from the 1950s and continues with Alex Honnold and Dean Potter and the great climbers of today.
Bueno, Valley Uprising es una película sobre la historia de la escalada en el Parque Nacional de Yosemite, que está considerado como la meca de la escalada en roca, y recorre 60 años de historia de la escalada, y no solamente es la evolución del deporte, sino también estudia el nacimiento de una contracultura y de un estilo de vida que empezó con los beatnik y que luego representan gente como Alex Honnold o Dame Porter.
Sí. Gracias.
Okay, so from there we jump back to the bikes. We have with us Dana and Bruce Brown to present, Robbie, Roland to present on any Sunday the next chapter. Basically what we have here is the most important family in documentary sport filmmaking. Pasamos a On Any Sunday Next Chapter. Tenemos con nosotros a Dana Brown, su director, Bruce Brown, productor ejecutivo, Roland Sands y Robbie Madison. Son sin duda la familia más importante en la historia del cine, de los deportes de acción. Dana, please.
Thank you. On Any Sunday is a sequel to On Any Sunday, the next chapter is a sequel to On Any Sunday, which my dad made. And it's simply about the world of motorcycling, from the best in the world, from the competitors to amateurs, young and old, and the men and women who ride on any Sunday. That's what the movie's about.
Bueno, Dana Brown dice que On Any Sunday, la secuela o el segundo capítulo es precisamente una secuela de la película que hizo su padre con el mismo título, y que se trata simplemente de una película que refleja todo el mundo de la motocicleta, desde los aficionados a los profesionales, viejos, jóvenes, mujeres, hombres.
Yeah, that's an understatement. It's much more than that, but then you have to come to see a movie.
I was told to keep it brief.
Okay. Robbie, Roland, please. What is the word to say? Bruce.
I had to come all the way to Spain to watch Dana's movie because I haven't seen it yet. So better be good because I got jet lag big time. Here's Super Pop right here.
Bruce Brown dice que ha venido hasta aquí para ver esta película y que todavía no la ha visto. Entonces que espera que sea buena, que esté a la altura de su jet lag y eso, que espera que compense el jet lag que tiene.
For me, I have a part in On Any Sunday, the next chapter, where I fulfill a jump that has been a long time dream of mine to do, and I got the opportunity to bring it to the world through this film, and just really privileged to work with such an amazing family with Dana and Bruce and their whole team. So it's an honor to be a part of the next chapter of what is the most iconic motorcycle film of all time. And we watched On Any Sunday, the first one, last night, and it's still a captivating film from the start to the finish, and it's timeless, and its message will always be an important one. And so I haven't seen. I'm like Bruce, jet lagged as well, and looking forward to seeing the film. And I'm sure it's in great hands, and hopefully another sequel, another timeless movie that'll will have its place in history.
Bueno, Robbie Madison dice que él está muy orgulloso de haber podido incluir en esta película un salto con el que llevaba tiempo soñando y ha podido plasmarlo en esta película gracias a Bruce Brown o gracias a Dana Brown. Está muy orgulloso de participar, de formar parte de esta secuela de una película tan simbólica y tan emblemática, que forma parte de la historia de la motocicleta como la primera On Any Sunday. Y dice que ayer la vieron una vez más y se dio cuenta de que sigue estando vigente, de que sigue teniendo un mensaje igual de atractivo, igual de importante como antes. Todavía igual que Bruce, no ha podido ver On Any Sunday, the next chapter, pero espera que sea otro film de culto dentro de la historia del motociclismo, de la historia del cine.
It's not easy.
Hi, my name is Roland Sands, and I've had the honor to be a part of both of the Greasy Hand Preachers film and the On Any Sunday film, so it's really a trip to be here, sitting between these two groups of people who I think both have shown motorcycling in completely unique lights on any Sunday. I've been a huge fan since I was a kid, so you know, just to be a part of it is an honor, and for them to also include the art of and the craft of building motorcycles into the film, it just shows that the new film, I think, reaches to a pretty broad audience, to a large audience. And go ahead.
Bueno, Roland Sands dice que es un honor para él haber participado en las dos películas y haber colaborado con dos grupos de personas tan diferentes, cada una con su manera tan particular y exclusiva de enseñar, de mostrar lo que es el mundo de la motocicleta. Y bueno, y también en especial el arte de construir motos a medida o custom.
Ok, es la conexión perfecta de la historia de On Any Sunday a On Any Sunday Next Chapter. Roland Sands conecta dos mundos y conectamos las dos películas. The Greasy Hands Preachers, Roland Sands, Arthur de Kersauzon, Clément Beauvais que dirigen. Y aquí, un poco en la sombra, que les hemos medio mezclado, tenemos a Blitz y al Solitario, protagonistas de la película. So Roland is the perfect link between the two movies. This talks about also the connection of the lifestyle. Arthur, Clément, Blitz and Solitario.
Good morning. Our film mainly focuses on those people that have tried through manual work and working on motorcycle mainly to actually find sense of time, sense of values, work as a value, what working with your hand means. And in making this film, what we've tried to actually show is how, you know, it can be anything, as you say once, you know, it can be butterfly, but in this case it's motorcycle. How putting your heart and your work into something can make you happy. And motorcycle was the best way to show it, because actually, you know, when you make parts, there's not much to film after that. And when you make motorcycles, there's so much to film after that. You know, the joy of riding and the joy of sharing and the joy of, you know, using a motorcycle as a link in the community to get people together. So that's it for now.
Bueno, Arthur de Kersauzon dice que habla de Greasy Hand Preachers, su película, que dice que sobre todo lo que han intentado enseñar es el trabajo manual y la manera en la cual da sentido, puede dar sentido a unos valores, puede dar sentido a lo que es trabajar el usar las manos para trabajar. Ellos han querido demostrar que se puede trabajar en cualquier cosa, en este caso se tratan motos, pero podría ser cualquier cosa. La cuestión es que el trabajo manual te hace feliz, te aporta la felicidad. Y dice además que, como en este caso se trata de motos, después del trabajo manual llega la parte de disfrutar de la moto, de enseñarlo, y este es el vínculo entre las motos y el trabajo manual y el estilo de vida.
Hi, I'm Clément. I think Arthur did a pretty good sum up of what the film is about. If I had anything to add, it was just while spending some times with Roland, David, Hugo, Fred, Shinya, Deus, they're not here yet, but we found that in their garage there is more than meets the eyes. It's not just a motorcycle machine. I think what we witnessed shooting this movie, like all those guys, seems for us to find their way to a good and happy life.
Bueno, Clément dice que, bueno, que Arthur ha resumido muy bien lo que significa la película. Lo único que quería añadir tal vez es que al pasar tiempo con Hugo, Blitz, Holland y los demás, lo que ha podido comprobar es que en su garaje hay mucho más de lo que se ve a primera vista, porque está toda la esencia de todo lo que significa su trabajo manual.
Por favor. Anybody, please.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to speak on behalf of the three of us at least. It was not planned, sorry. We are blessed to be part of what we consider being a huge, hopefully, piece of history to try to show the people that working with your hands can take you to a next level, which is happiness and fulfillment, and that having grease under your nails is not a curse, but a blessing, in a way.
Bueno, él va a hablar en nombre de los tres. Fred va a hablar en nombre de Teus y Hugo y David. Era el plan previsto. Y Fred dice que es un honor formar parte bueno, ser una parte tan enorme de toda la historia, demostrando que en realidad la gente que trabaja con las manos está en un nivel superior de satisfacción y de felicidad, y que tener grasa en las uñas, tener las uñas negras, es un orgullo, no una vergüenza.
Muy bien. Bueno, después de esta presentación de las películas, queremos aprovechar que teníamos todo este talento, todas estas generaciones, desde Bruce Brown, que empezó todo esto con Endless Summer on Any Sunday, desde Todd Jones, que es Teton Gravity, es una de las productoras más importantes del mundo, de esquí, de montaña, atletas como Robbie, Roland, esta nueva película que habla una escena totalmente nueva, es la primera vez que se documenta esto. Ben Bryant, that we left in the corner there, but then you jump in the discussion. Y los protagonistas de Grease and Preachers, queríamos plantear una serie de temas y aprovechar esto. That after presenting the movies, we thought that we had this pool of people living for their passions and making films for their passions, from Teton, Robbie as an athlete, Bruce, of course, that you started it all with, it's your fault, basically, with Endless Summer and Only Sunday. You started all this that we're doing in Savage Cinema. So, and Dan, of course, Roland, and this seminal movie about this movement, Ben Bryant, that we didn't introduce before, sorry, that's part of On Sunday, and the guys from Greasy Hands. We wanted to open a discussion about why we're doing this, and history, and the situation of these films in the market. Of course, also Sender Films, Real Rock Tour. I think it's very interesting ways of like living your life with your passions, documenting it, and showing it to the public. I have Philip Manderla here from Red Bull Media House, feature film, how do you say, director? Okay, sorry, I lose my mind. Who's going to open up the discussion. We'd like to count with you guys. This is like a very casual way of talking about what we like, and feel free to answer, intervene, and talk about it.
So a late good morning from my side, and buenos dias. As Sancho said, we're very happy on the Red Bull Media House side to have this collaboration with the San Sebastian Festival, and now Savage Cinema in its second year. We're very proud of that, and we're equally proud of the super eclectic lineup that Sancho just lined out again, and we really wanted to use the opportunity to kind of take a look at action sports, adventure sports, and outdoor filmmaking. I don't even think it's a correct term, but you know, the type of films we're featuring here, and maybe a good idea is to throw an open-ended question to you, Todd, because watching Higher and seeing the archival footage, seeing you as three brothers, probably early 80s, 70s, yeah, something like that. So you really witnessed it within a family, within a group of three brothers, and really came a long way. So maybe you want to share some thoughts on the progression and on the development that you saw over the course of the last 30, 35 years, personally, commercially, and creatively.
Absolutely. Are you still translating? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I mean, it honestly, someone said it. It really did start with Bruce Brown. He probably made the first action sport film that I ever saw, which was Endless Summer, and it was a story-based film. And but probably about 20 years ago, what I witnessed was the rise of action sports and action sports films, like the real true onslaught in all the genres, in snowboard and ski and skate. And for a long time, these films were very much just music and footage. And I think what I've noticed more recently is that they've, now that these sports have evolved and the X Games and everything's come along, and there's a lot of really cool stories to tell now. And I think that's what you're seeing here with Savage Cinema, and I think why the genre has been invited. And there's so many cool films that and stories that can be told, and I think that's really, it's very important. And I think those, when it was all in its infancy in the early days, it was really just about the trick and the action and the culture and the music, and so it's very cool for me to watch all of these guys' movies and all the other movies that aren't here that are coming out, and I think it's a very cool thing. So.
I mean, looking at, because we also said we maybe to take a look at the commercial aspect, because there's also great development on that aspect, and I think Sando film, Real Rock, I mean, it's not quite the same, but it's kind of the same group of people, right? So, okay, if you said the same, then it's the same. And I think also you, much like MSP, who unfortunately are not here today, have forged clever business models. Can you elaborate on that? Maybe starting with you again, and then.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just talking to these guys about it. I think the business it's a very interesting one. I think where we've found success is in building our own distribution models, and we've done that through online and through building film tours and on a more sophisticated level, capturing data and information, which isn't really what, as a filmmaker, you're supposed to talk about and do, but it's really powerful stuff. And so what my brother and I have done is surround ourselves with people way smarter than us and much more technical and nerdy, and just said, hey, can you guys figure this? We know this is really cool. Can you guys figure this out for us? And I think they've done a good job, and I think we're starting to prove the concept that action sports there can be a really strong business built around action sports, and so I'll hand it over to the Center boys.
Yeah, Peter, how many people get to see your films in how many cities around the world?
Yeah, so we run the Real Rock Film Tour, and that shows our films, and it also shows other climbing and adventure films. And we do 400 to 500 cities around the world. We do, every continent, including Antarctica. We do one at the South Pole. And, maybe 100 to 150,000 people come to see it. And I think, like, everyone here, the distribution is, I mean, that's the crux with everything. There's so many talented filmmakers and there's so many stories to tell. And I think everyone here is either runs a production distribution house like Red Bull and TGR, or you partner closely with a production distribution house. And like for us, the climbing world is really small, and Real Rock is sort of set up to absorb everything. So if someone comes with a new film, there's new talented filmmakers, we want to bring them into Real Rock. The athletes, if they have, big objectives and big projects, we want to work with them and bring them in. And so I think, and then just really quick, the last thing on it, I think it's really cool that all of our distribution, like the most exciting aspect of it is these tours. And it's like these film festivals, like seeing these films on the big screen with the community and with all the other people is I think the most exciting part of it. And especially in this digital age where everyone's watching individually, like having these big communal events, it kind of gets back to the roots of what these sports are about and this lifestyle is about.
But your film, your film, for example, and I think all the films that we have here are not it's not only for climbers.
Yeah.
And I think your film that is tonight, I think it could cater to anybody, but at the same time you were telling me, oh sorry, excuse me.
I wanted to add to that. Is Valley an attempt to kind of reach a broader audience?
Yeah, Valley Uprising is definitely, yeah, I mean, so our idea is we build with the core, and we keep the core, and then we just go broader and broader. In every film, it's, you know, we try to bring in more and more people, and Valley Uprising we've been working on for 7 years. It's like the culmination of, you know, a lot of the partnerships. Like we brought in all the graphics people and the producers that we've partnered with, and it's our attempt to sort of tell this story in the broadest, biggest sense possible. Definitely, and I think that's what we're all trying to do, is just go bigger and not just preach to the choir, but you know, share it with everybody.
But you were telling me yesterday that at the same time as you have your tour, if you go to a city, then you have your core screenings, so then the film festivals won't accept you. So you were telling me that at the same time, no, that could be a problem, because I think it's like worthwhile to be, of course, with us as the other films, but
yeah. I mean, that's interesting with Valley. We don't know. We just started. This is the first festival that it's playing at. We've done, you know, 15 or 20 screenings on the Real Rock Tour, and we're just figuring out if it's possible to show at festivals and also show on the tour. I mean, I think that's a challenge. Yeah.
I just want to say, is this thing working?
Yeah.
Oh. Never heard of action sports or lifestyle. I mean, when we were starting making movies, we were just trying to make enough money to stay at the beach. And so all this lifestyle, that's just how we live. We didn't think about it. You know, it's like, okay, you can go to Hawaii. If you got $100, you can stay for a month. You know, because you could go eat at the Sampan Inn for 25 cents for a stack of pancakes, or Maruzen's in Waikiki, $1 for a big old steak that was, you know, as big as the plate. It was about an 1/8 thick, you know, but other than that, it was a steak. So times have changed. So I hear all this lifestyle distribution. I mean, we used to we printed our own posters in the garage. My wife ran a projector. We carried our own sound system, and we just, you know, rented like high school auditoriums and stuff and showed our movie. And then at the end, we'd count up the dollar bills and go, wow, we just made $37.50 or 2,000 or whatever it was. But I mean, then that went to pay the bills to make the next movie. And so that was all there was to it. So I really take no credit for anything about action sports or lifestyle, because I didn't even know what the hell it was.
Because you invented it.
Or it wasn't even then.
At the same time, Endless Summer is one of the most successful documentaries ever. So, I mean, just to put it in context, but
I don't think it's changed. I mean, that's basically the same thing.
I was just going to ask. I mean, maybe we left the 25-cent realm, but maybe an open question to the entire group. I mean, it's still about continuing to do what you love. I mean, that's at the core of what most people are here as a question.
Yeah. Well, I know that for most of us it's true. Most of us try to actually stay at the beach or the mountain or close to the bikes. So we all try to figure out a way to stay close to the thing we love, more than probably making. And at the same time, the way I see the business model evolving, I mean, the way we financed our film was very experimental. What we basically did is we raised money on Kickstarter. So we believe those films can be pre-financed by talking to the right audience early on. And that's probably 1/3 of our financing. We went to some brands and say we're going to do something pretty cool, believe us, and it worked out. And we got some private money. And I think this business model could keep evolving. Because of that, we got a lot of freedom. No one would have let us, you know, shot in 16. It makes no sense theoretically, but it does make a lot of sense on an artistic level. But that's how you do it. It was easier to convince the people that we wanted to do it in 16 than convince the player in the industry, because the player are focused on margining, or they focus on different things, and they also focus on you know, feasibility, and it makes things more complicated, so more risky. I believe that your audience is in a way looking for differentiation and new product and new things, and they're very happy for you to take a risk. They want us to actually take as more risk as possible. That's what they want us to do. And it can start very early on by the financing, and actually those people are pretty much the one that will follow you in the financing very early on. That's what I believe on.
I got a question for
Sure.
the Yosemite thing. Yeah. Mike Hoover and Beverly Johnson?
Yeah.
You know them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mike was the director of photography for Endless Summer 2 that Dana and I did.
Yeah.
And Beverly Johnson was like this tough lady that, God, I loved her. And I think she was the first lady to solo El Cap.
She was.
Okay.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, so-
And I mean, we're so taken by them. Nick and I, my partner who's here, have talked about making a documentary about them. I mean, their life story is incredible.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
In the movie. You'll see him in the movie.
Nick, what are you doing there? Join
out
the
here,
discussion
Nick.
here. Come on. Sorry, we leave you out.
No, I'm good.
Hoover would, we're shooting Endless Summer 2. He's a big, tall guy, so he'd always be, looking through the tripod, and he'd look at me going, do you want to look through the lens? And I'd go, yeah, and he'd go, get him a box.
The Apple box.
So Hoover and I go way, way back.
That's really cool.
He's a jerk.
Hey, Bruce, you did pretty well. You stayed on the beach. I mean, you're still on the beach. So, I mean, you're successful in that. Staying on the beach all your life, doing what you like.
Oh, Hoover, when we first started shooting, we're at the pipeline, and the guy gets in the tube, and he's gone. And Hoover shuts the camera off. And I go, what are you doing? Like, I couldn't see him anymore. And I go, he was just screwing with me. I go, no, that's good. He goes, it is? But he'd do stuff like that all the time, just to screw my mind up,
So, having heard the perspective from behind the camera, Robbie, maybe asking you, because you get to see all facets from big Hollywood production on the stunt side to endemic videos to high-class productions. What's the development that you got to experience over the course of the last whatever years?
Well, doing like stunts for films is it's good to work with good people, so you get the shot right. And I appreciate the artwork and the perspective that some people, shooters, cameramen have, and when they say, oh, I want to shoot it wide for this perspective, so you get the appreciation of how big the jump is, or how, following it with helicopters and stuff like this is, and what it all turns out to be when you're shooting for a movie, you have to repeatedly keep doing the stunt, so it kind of enhances the risk, but you know that the reward is obviously distribution and getting the doing something cool for a film and seeing it on the camera. And when we did the Park City jump, I really kind of liked working with Dana just because of his relaxed attitude. He's like, hey, if you feel that you're happy, well then we're happy. And it was refreshing to do that. I came from filming James Bond where we just did take after take after take, and it seemed like someone, I don't know whether it's a fussy producer or what that wants a certain shot, certain angles, but I appreciate, obviously watching the Bond film and seeing the way it came out was really cool. And I know from seeing some of the angles that we shot with On Any Sunday, the next chapter, it's really captivated it well. So it's from being like the athlete kind of getting shot, I guess it's I've only been in this game for 10 years, but it's I've seen the quality of film, be enhanced, and obviously like the experience for the viewer to watch it, it's a better experience, and to work with great people like who are in this room and who are showing us, what we get to see. It's I think they do a great job. So I mean, it's a blessing to work with Dana. Just again, the relaxed attitude with it was really cool.